10K a month of remote sales, right? It's doable, but it's nowhere near as easy as everybody makes it out to be, okay? I'm going to record this video for you, right, to explain step by step how to actually make 10K a month of remote sales, the exact pathway to do it, okay? The correct pathway, because there's so many coaches on remote sales now. It's such a saturated market. And yes, I know I'm one of them, right? But hear me out. A lot of them don't really know what they're talking about. They try and get you to do closing straight away. You can make 10K a month, location freedom, time freedom, all of this kind of stuff. They say you're the dream. Those are those guys that are teaching beginners how to make 10K a month online, don't know what they're doing, and they are selling you the dream and just giving you false expectations. I'm gonna run you through how to actually do this as somebody that's done it myself, as a crippling introvert, right? That couldn't look girls in the eyes or my friends in the eyes or be taken seriously working a dead-end retail job, to, in the space of just under 2 years, hitting $10,000 per month, right, through remote sales, more than that actually. Okay, and I'll run you through how I did it and how, as a complete beginner, right, or somebody with very minimal experience, how you can do it reliably too, okay? So yeah, like I said, everybody tells you it's the easiest thing to do, and just buy my course and you can do it. Realistically, 10K a month with remote sales requires skill, regardless of like where you're starting out, right? It requires experience and skill. You can't just buy someone's program or mentorship and come under someone's wing, get placed on a role making 10K a month. What you need to understand is these roles that pay 10K a month, number one, they're closing positions. You have to be a closer. You can't do it with appointment setting, right? Despite some of my competitors actually saying that you can get to 10K a month, their student hit 10K a month. It's very, very rare. Appointment setting isn't the model to get to 10K. It's the model to get to the 3K to 5K mark. 10K is extremely hard to do. So if you see somebody going, oh, my student hit 10K a month with appointment setting in 30 days, as a complete beginner, it's a lie, okay? You can only do it with closing, right? So to actually hit 10K in remote sales, you have to be a closer, but you can't jump into a closing position making 10K a month as a complete beginner. You have to go up the ranks. So this is what I find hilarious. It's like they get beginners into this closing course to make 10K a month, but it's essentially like trying to start a plumbing company when you don't know how to change a tap. You're becoming a closer, a high ticket closer, when you don't know how to sell, right? It's like starting a marketing agency, right? Starting a marketing company when you don't know how to run Facebook ads or run funnels, right? Or even what a funnel is, for that fact. People that pay their sales reps 10K a month in commission, they pay elite closers, people who are already good at what they do. They're not gonna bring somebody on that joined a course, right? And pay them 10K a month when they can find a killer who's already got experience and pay them to do it straight away and do a better job. You have to understand, to make 10K a month as a closer, right? These calls that are being taken for this high ticket product are very expensive for the offer owner to get on the calendar. So they need somebody who's good and they can rely on to close the deals to take the calls. They are not going to take a complete beginner because he's under a mentorship, under his wing, right? And put him on the calendar to close his deals when he hasn't got a guarantee that he's going to perform, okay? So let me just debunk this whole remote closing mentorship myth for you now. That is not the best way to start as a beginner. Do not jump into closing. You're jumping in the deep end. It might sound exciting, but it's not. You are working a job. You are working a 9 to 5, right? Closing, and to make 10K a month for closing, is a full-time thing, whether you're experienced or not. You have to put your heart and soul into it. You can't do it, right, working a 9 to 5 on the side. You will be a part-time closer. If you're a part-time closer, you make part-time cash, right? Which means you're definitely not hitting 10K a month. So if you're gonna be a part-time closer making part-time cash, do you know what you might as well do? Become an appointment setter, right? And at least do it from your phone and decide when you work, compared to doing closing where you have to be at these calls every single day. You're gonna be a part-time closer making part-time cash, you may as well start out with setting. I'm just doing a bit of a rant before I get into the full journey of how to do this, right? Because I need to like just get rid of these beliefs in you guys' heads, because there's so many ads online, oh, you know, 10K a month of closing. It makes me angry, because beginners, it's not a beginner-friendly model. It's not a beginner-friendly model. It's too difficult for beginners to do 10K straight away remote sales and you don't know how to sell, okay? Plus you're working, right, I'm not gonna rant for too long, right? But 10K a month for sales doesn't actually give you time or location freedom like they tell you, right? Like it's always, make 10K a month, location freedom, time freedom. No, right? Like we've already established, making 10K a month with remote sales is being a closer. Being a closer means you take sales calls every single day, right? You can't really afford to be in Timbuktu, right, on the toilet, taking sales calls. You haven't got location freedom. You have to be somewhere with good Wi-Fi and is quiet with a mature background, right? Granted, yes, you can do that in any country, but it's not really true location freedom, is it? Because there's so many things you can't really control. You have to go somewhere quiet, somewhere with good Wi-Fi, somewhere you're going to be left alone, right? And somewhere where you can focus. You have to change your entire life to optimize for these calls. Change your diet, change your sleep, change your environments. You can't afford to be jumping from Dubai to Thailand to Timbuktu to Australia every 4 days. Location freedom doesn't exist. Time freedom doesn't exist either as a closer. Do you know why? Because you're glued to these sales calls every single day. At 5 p.m. you have a sales call. At 3 p.m. you have a sales call. At 2 p.m. you have a sales call. And again, if you're going to make 10K a month, the more calls you do, the more money you make, right? So these calls are directly responsible for the money you make. So you have to take loads of calls, right? Now here's the kicker. Your day is going to be structured out by how many sales calls you're going to be doing during the day. You got one at 12 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., whatever, right? You have to structure your day around these calls. Well, guess what? You don't even have a guarantee that these people are going to show up to the calls, right? So you structured your entire day and your week around these closing calls that you're going to be doing, and they don't even turn up. How is that time freedom? How is that location freedom? That is not freedom. Do you know what that is? That's a well-paid 9 to 5, and that's fine. But let's start calling it what it is. It's a well-paid 9 to 5. Time freedom, location freedom doesn't really exist. It's a well-paid, remote 9 to 5. Stop believing all of this crap on the internet. It doesn't exist in the closing world. You can make good money, that's fine. Remote 9, it's a remote 9 to 5. That's perfectly fine. You can do that. You can get a well-paid 9 to 5, like I just said there. There's nothing wrong with the model, but there is something wrong with people telling you, right, that you've got location and time freedom when you don't. So have the right expectations, okay? Right, so I'll now run you through how to actually predictably go from 0 to 10K a month, right, as a total beginner with no sales experience, the right way, the way you should have been doing it all along, right? And if you're watching this before you started this journey, this is gonna save you so much time. Start with appointment setting, okay? Start with setting and work your way up. Now, how this is going to look, you're going to start doing appointment setting, working your job as well, a 9 to 5. You're going to do part-time setting. You're going to make a couple of grand a month from that, right? That's easier said than done. Obviously, you can't just, oh, here we go, an appointment setter now make 2 grand a month. It's a little bit more complex than that. And obviously, that's what I help appointment setters do and beginners. So if that sounds interesting to you, then, wait till the end because I'm going to show you how I can help you, right? But you're going to start appointment setting while you're doing your job. Right, so you're not jacking it all in for this closing position with the hopes of making 10K a month. You can start making a couple of grand a month, doing appointment setting on top of your job, right? Get to 2K, 3K, 4K, 5K a month, whatever, right? Get to the point where you can do that full time. Quit your job if you want to, right? You don't have to do it. I'd recommend get it to the point where you're making a consistent 2, 3K a month or the money you're making from your job, then quit your job, do that full time, right? Rinse it as much as you can. The cap I found with setting is around 5K to 7K. You can do 10K with setting, right? I'll be real with you, it's really hard to do. I've done it myself a couple of times with setting, right? But I'm not gonna sit here and say you can do 10K because it's really not that simple, okay? So if you see testimonials from appointment setting coaches of getting their students to 10K, it's not like, it's either there's so many more variables to it that they're not sharing, right? Or it's not true, okay? So just take that with a pinch of salt, number one, okay? So get to the point where you're doing that full time, you're maxing it out. Let's say you're doing 4K to 5K with setting, very achievable, okay? Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna transition to either being a closer or you can now go and start your own business like I did. You have to understand these models within sales. Let's say you wanna get to 10K, 20, 30K a month, right? You're gonna have to jump from model to model to model, okay? So you're gonna start with appointment setting to get you to like 3K to 5K a month. And if you wanna get to 10K, you can then jump into closing, the new model, right? As a jump pad into closing, start making 10K a month, right? And then you can go one step further, start your own company, make 20K, 50K, 100K a month. Or you can even start your own company after doing appointment setting and do it that way like I did. I didn't want to become a closer because I didn't want that golden handcuffs and I wanted true location freedom, which I actually have with my own business and also had when I was an appointment setter as well, okay? So you're gonna transition after you get into the 3K to 5K a month for setting, right? You're gonna transition to either being a closer or having your own business. And that's basically how to do it. You always start lower down, okay? You don't start a marketing company or a marketing agency when you don't know what Facebook ads are. You don't start a plumbing company when you don't know how to change a tap, right? So why would you start doing high ticket remote closing when you can't even talk to a girl? Where's that logic coming from? Okay, so just ignore all of this crap online. Start slow. It's fine to start a bit slow, right? Appointment setting, a couple of grand a month, right, to the point where you're making the same amount for your job. Quit your job, full-time setting, max it out, transition to closer or start your own business, bosh, 10K a month. It takes about 1 to 2 years to do if you actually lock in, right? I didn't have anybody helping me or showing me what to do with this. So if you have someone helping you and is actually gonna tell you what you need to hear, right, rather than what you want to hear, which is what I'm trying to do with this channel, you can do it in around 1 to 2 years, depending on where you're starting out. Let's say you're a complete beginner, introvert, you know, can't even look at yourself in the mirror, like cripplingly shy, right? It's going to take you a little bit longer, of course, right? Somebody who already has sales experience in like a sales job, for example, it's going to be a little bit faster for you, but expect, I'd say 6 months if you're an absolute beast and you've already got like sales experience in the past, right? You can just jump straight into closing. But if this is a completely brand new thing to you, it's going to take some time, 1 to 2 years. You have to understand this as well. We need to have the right expectations. You are going to get to a 6-figure a year, right, income in 1 to 2 years. What takes doctors like 7 or 8 years of, you know, training and going to like university and doing their degrees and stuff. You're going to do it in 2 years. So please don't sit there and go, oh, I don't want to do it for 2. Like, shut up, right? If you want to make 10K a month, that's what you need to expect. 1 to 2 years, right? 6 months is for a beast, but 1 to 2 years, if you actually kind of have somebody showing you what to do and is not going to be selling you the dream, then which is what I'm trying to do with this channel. I'm trying to tell you how to actually do it properly, okay? So become a closer if you want. Like remote sales, 10K a month is closing. You can't do it with setting, at least not very consistently or very easily. You have to do it to closing, right? But to get into closing, you have to have sales experience on a full calendar, like an open calendar, right? So you have to start off with appointment setting. You have to work your way up. You can't just jump into it, right? Because you're gonna be a part-time closer, making part-time cash, and you're gonna be crap when you first start out. And closing is cutthroat. So if you're new, working part-time, making part-time cash, right, on this high-ticket offer, with beasts of sales reps next to you and you're not performing to their KPIs, they will chuck you off the team, right? It's cutthroat straight away for a complete beginner. So start with appointment setting because you can start performing at their KPIs basically immediately because it's such a, it's a very, I would say it's an easy skill because it's not, but it's it's a lot easier to nurture and to learn than it is for closing and to get results and start getting paid ASAP. Okay, so become a closer if you want, but starting your own business as well is gonna pay you more with more freedom, okay? Closing, it's a well-paid 9 to 5. Having your own business, granted, yeah, I mean, I know you work like 24/7, but at least you're answering to yourself. Like, for example, I have my own business. I coach people how to become appointment setters, right? I'm in Spain right now in this lovely house. I'll show you a little bit of a preview, right? So this is like the stairs. It's 4 floors. Just I booked a one-way ticket. In fact, I'm actually planning to move here, okay, to Spain. And I have that freedom, right, because I have my own business. I haven't got somebody on my case every day telling me to be on these sales calls. If I don't want to do a sales call, I just won't do it, right? I'm just saying, I haven't got somebody telling me to do that. Whereas with being a closer, I do have someone telling me to do it. So it's basically a job. People frame closing as this, oh, you're your own boss. No, you're not. You've got sales managers up your ass. It doesn't exist, right? So have the right expectations. So look, if you want to actually do this properly and you enjoyed this video and you want to see a little bit more about how to actually do it properly the right way, I've done this whole journey myself. I probably started off in a worse position than you did, right? I was working in a retail job. I was fat, I was spotty, I was a loser. I'm not gonna do that whole sub story. But it took me, I think it was 6 weeks to get to the point where I was matching my income at my job. In fact, I doubled it, right? I was making 1K a month on my job. I hit 2K on my first month in setting. I quit my job after that. And then after that, it took me 4 months to get to $5 grand a month, right? Pounds as well, GBP, so that's like $7K. But I'm not gonna say it in dollars because I don't spend dollars, I spend pounds. I'm not gonna try and lie to you and try and make it sound like more than it is, okay? So look, if you want to actually do this predictably, right, get to 10K of sales in a realistic time frame, right, with realistic expectations and realistic results, there's going to be a link down below in the description, right, to book in a call with me. I'm gonna run you through exactly how I can hold your hand, help you to do this properly with appointment setting, okay? Because that's what's really gonna change your life. That's what's gonna get you out of that job, make a couple of grand a month online, right? Build that character, and then we can look at getting you to closing or starting your own business down the line like I did, okay? So link in the description, book in a call. Full transparency, if you book that in, right, it is designed to try and sell you something, but listen, right? I've got a killer new offer for the people that I coach. I actually guarantee you'll land a role, right? Within 90 days, Otherwise, I have a money back guarantee on that. Okay, so book on a call. I'll run you through how that looks. But listen, I still do it to this day, appointment setting. I've done it myself for 2 years. It got me out of my old life. So if you want to learn how to actually do it properly from someone who still practices what he preaches, book in that call. I'll run you through exactly how I can help.